You're at the Watchman Way, July 8th, 2020. Still in Roanoke Park. It looks like changing plans. As I started to think this through, granddaughter's due in like 10 days. And I've got to be at the ranch till probably through Monday. So the plan is I'm probably going to hang out in California till that grandbaby's born. And so I'll be here another couple of weeks probably. And then I'll be heading, that might change too. Montana, Idaho, or east. Maybe headed towards, maybe even the East Coast. I'm not sure. See how it goes. I wanted to talk a little bit about my granddaughter who had an experience with the hospital just a couple of weeks ago. So she's 21 years old. She had 104 fever for like 3 days. They couldn't break, and stomach problems. They take her to the hospital because she's like really dehydrated and having terrible stomach pain. We know that they are pushing these tests, right? They never gave her a test. They never tested her for the virus. I was blown away. I couldn't believe, that she seemed like for sure somebody'd want to test. I'm wondering, there's something to this. There's some reason why otherwise healthy 21-year-old, why they don't want to test her. Is there something more to this? Is it something that they saw they didn't want people to know about? Maybe she's got something different or a different strain. I'm not sure. If anybody out there knows or has heard anything about anything like this, please let me know. I can't believe that she wasn't tested. And there's got to, whenever you see something like this that sticks out like a sore thumb, there's a reason they're doing it, especially when it's completely counter to everything you're seeing, right? They've been forcing tests on people. And they have somebody there at the hospital who seems a prime candidate for virus. Something's up. So anybody have any ideas, please let me know and put it in that comment section if you can, if you're watching this live. Otherwise, just leave a comment or message me, because I'm curious to know if anybody else got a take on this. The other thing I want to touch on tonight is our role as we go through this process, this great awakening, swamp draining, pedophile eradication. We need to set the example. First and foremost is remaining calm, and in spite of anything else that might be going on around us. And I don't think there's anything coming that's going to particularly panic a watchman, because we kind of already know what to expect. We don't know exactly how it's going to play out, but we know first ever worldwide economic collapse is coming, or a reset / Nasara, worldwide draining of the swamp, Now we know it's approximately 500,000 people, 500,000 people that are going to be arrested, and the exposure and eradication of satanic pedophiles. We know those things are coming. I don't think there's going to be a lot of surprises for us. Again, there could be, certain things that happen that we didn't particularly anticipate, but it's going to be, in the same realm, pushback, possibly some violence or attacks on conservative areas. Maybe some more rioting and looting. I think we've seen the worst of this. We were just talking about this afternoon that it seems like the black hats, well, number one, they never had the numbers that they needed. I mean, for over a year, I've been hearing numbers in the 30 to 50,000 range of the army that Obama and Soros were recruiting, right? Well, Jesus, that sounds like a lot of people, 30 to 50,000. But when you look at the size of the country, it's really not that many. If you're trying to do something uniform throughout the whole country, that's why you saw all these BLM Antifa jumping on buses going from city to city, because they're trying to make it appear like they're a lot stronger than they really were. Then you throw in the pushback from citizens, from patriots, and all the videos of them getting their ass kicked from one side of the country to the other, getting shot, the rumors that Soros has been arrested and that money is drying up. Pretty soon, you got nothing left. And that's kind of seems like where we're at right now. It's like they got real tired of this real quick when they started seeing the 10-year sentences, and that the DAs and the DOJ was not playing games. It's not like Obama time. It's not like when Barry was running the show and they would get a slap on the wrist when they burned a cop car, tore down a statue. Now they're facing hard prison time. And the prospect is chilling for them. They thought they were protected by Big Brother. Papa Soros and Buddy Barry is going to take care of us. He's going to protect us. Well, guess what? They're not driving the bus anymore. President Trump is. Bill Barr is. And they're not playing games anymore. So the heart has left this movement, BLM / Antifa movement, is, I think we have seen the worst of it. I'm still saying around the middle of this month that I think President Trump shuts it down. I think he, puts a cure out. They know what the cure is. There's a couple of drugs now that are working amazing results. I think by the middle of the month, and here's the thing, in 2016, I just looked this up this afternoon. Everybody's talking about JFK Jr., right? I believe JFK Jr. is alive. I believe when you look at the evidence, the circumstances, here's what you have to remember. The night that he went down, the media claimed that it was basically instruments only. There was hardly any visibility. The truth is, there was 10 miles visibility. There wasn't a cloud in the sky the night that this supposedly happened. Then you got the search. It was like a day later that they started looking for a Kennedy down at sea. That doesn't happen. Somebody of that stature, they're out 5 minutes later, if it takes them 5 minutes. Immediately, they're looking for somebody of that stature. But they waited over 24 hours, I believe it was. Doesn't jive with reality. They're Catholic. Then you cremate the bodies and bury them at sea for the Kennedys? No, that doesn't happen. They have a big funeral. They're buried. The Catholics aren't cremated, generally speaking. None of this fits. It's all. And then the dog, the family dog, which they dearly loved, which their family would have dearly loved and cherished, disappears the day after this happens, just gone from the apartment. None of it makes sense. I believe. And then you've got this Vincent Fusca and his blonde wife, apparent blonde or blonde companion. The two of them are dead ringers for JFK Jr. and his wife. Something. And then you've got President Trump interacting with Vincent Fusca, who looks an awful lot like JFK Jr. You've got the height discrepancy, which they've kind of explained away in that there were two Vincent Fuscas. One, I think, was JFK Jr.'s cousin. I can't remember what his name is. But they look a lot alike, especially in disguise. But one of them's shorter. The cousin's shorter. So there was one argument from one of the channels that, oh, well, it couldn't be JFK Jr. because he's too short. Well, that's been explained. I don't think, President Trump and JFK Jr. were good friends. They spent a lot of time together, a lot of respect between them. President Trump is obviously, there's something going on there between Vincent Fusca, and you can actually see them interacting during these rallies. You can go watch Jennifer Mack. She's got a good video series on this, and she actually does lip reading on Caroline. He would have to be in on it. If this is a hoax and this is not JFK Jr., my question is, as close as they were, what would be the benefit to him of playing this charade? And to me, out of respect for the family, he would never do this. He would never create that hope that, he's still alive if he wasn't still alive. Obviously, they would know one way or the other. But I just don't see him doing that. Out of respect, I don't see him doing that. We'll see. We'll see how it plays out. But I believe he's alive. And here's the other thing. It was really late last time that President Trump announced his running mate. It was announced on the 15th of July in 2016. I've been saying that I expected things to be wrapping up by the middle of the month. What if you got the reset, the swamp takedown, pedophiles exposed, eradicated, JFK Jr. announced as a VP candidate in the middle of the month, and it all went down at the same time? Can you imagine the frenzy? And in a good way, right? I mean, you can't discount how important this piece of the puzzle is. JFK Jr. He was Democratic royalty. The family, the Kennedy family's Democratic royalty. Think about that calming effect on the liberals, the Democrats, when they've got a Democrat icon coming back from the dead to tell his story about why he had to go into hiding because of the Bush/Clinton cabal that was going to murder him because Hillary had to win that election in 1999 for the Senate seat that she eventually ended up winning. Well, they knew there was no way in hell that she could beat a Kennedy, especially this Kennedy. So I think what happened was the white hats, who there were still white hats loyal to JFK, and obviously would have been loyal to his son, who warned him and set up the whole ruse of faking his death and protecting him for 20 years. And then you look at some of the George, his magazine, in one of the 1999 editions. They talk about 20 years later, and there are some really amazing hints from 1999 about this stuff happening. You can't make this up. I still believe he's alive. I still believe he's going to be our next vice president. Fingers crossed. Think about that story. Think about that, how that impacts a lot of liberals who would be really rattled if not for this happening. Just think of how he could ease the anxiety of liberals who've been brainwashed into believing that, we're all evil. We're eventually going to come and get them. That the conservatives are going to come and eliminate them. We're going to get revenge or whatever. It is total crazy. I mean, the last people in the world they have to worry about anything is from conservatives, because I keep saying this, even the ones I don't agree with, the Nazis, I'll defend their right to say what they want. I don't agree with it, but that's part of the deal. We can't have it both ways, right? When you live in this country, you take the good with the bad. The good is you get to say what you want. The bad is you've got people saying stuff that you don't agree with. To me, that's never been a problem. That's what I love about our country. You don't have to, you usually don't have to defend yourself, right? It used to be. My daughter, we went to lunch today, and we were kind of talking about these same things. And last week, she went to, I guess, pick up some food, whatever, and was in line, and a cop came in and got in line behind her. And she goes up to pay, and she said right away, just the mood of the restaurant, she couldn't believe it was like, and the people, the looks that they were giving this poor cop. I mean, geez, the guy he's just on his lunch break, and they're looking at him like he's a child murderer. So my daughter says, when she pays her stuff, she says, I want to pay for the guy behind me. And the woman running the register gets a really puzzled look on her face. She says, you want to do what? Like she's shocked that somebody's going to buy a cop a meal. And she says, the guy behind me, I want to pay for whatever he's getting. And then again, she questions her. You want to pay for? She says, yes, the policeman behind me. Can you imagine that? That's how brainwashed Some of these people are. They're so far gone that they have that attitude towards. I mean, this isn't a guy who's up on charges for gunning down people in the streets. This is just a cop on his beat. And she said it was, well, she wasn't real happy with the people. But it was evident. And if it's evident to her, how do you think the cop felt? And you wonder why these policemen are leaving the force in droves. You can't blame them. You know, it's a thankless job anyway. But then to have the animosity, the misguided animosity on top of it, you couldn't pay me enough money. But that's how well the globalist propaganda machine works. That they can convince the sheep. Once you get the sheep dumbed down through Common Core and all the crap they've been feeding our kids the last 20 years, it's easy to control them. You know, you got to give them credit. They were brilliant on the psyops. These monsters had that mental part of this game. They were brilliant. They came this close to taking our country without firing a shot, basically. Anyway. So, that was a long way to get to where I'm going. We need to set the example, the tone. No matter what the situation is. In situations like this, when we're seeing this kind of behavior, we need to step up and line people out. If it gets into a dangerous situation, we need to be calm and collected. Take a deep breath. No panic, no fear. Remember, the key, the trick to this, we've always talked about getting people prepared mentally, physically, spiritually. The physical part of this is obviously extra food, water, medical supplies, ammo, physical silver, Litecoin. That's kind of the physical. And also I've recommended getting in shape, start walking, exercising, whatever you can do. You know, depending on the situation, there's some situations where you may have to walk. The better prepared you are, the better you're going to get through this. That's the physical part of it. The mental part, we've talked about, you know, being prepared mentally, about running through different scenarios. What happens if somebody tries to kick in your front door? What happens if somebody tries to carjack you? What are you going to tell your group? If a tsunami happens, where are you going to meet? It's having these things pre-planned among your group and then thinking out a lot of the possibilities of things that could happen in your particular area. And of course, the spiritual part is not only, you know, the work we're doing, but understanding that when you're doing God's work, you have nothing to fear. Most people, when you ask them, well, why are you afraid? You know, what are you afraid of? And the answer most people are going to give you, like in especially different situations, they're afraid of dying. That's what it almost always comes back to. You know, people are afraid to die. Why would you be, if you're a Christian, you believe in God, and you're doing God's work, I can tell you, every single watchman, you have nothing to worry about where you're going. So then the next question is, why would you be afraid to die? Almost to a person, when we finally get to heaven, we're all going to ask ourselves why we fought so hard to stay on this rock earth, why we wanted to stay, why we fought to stay here. Because we're going to find that heaven is heaven. And it's going to be 1,000 times better even than the heaven on earth that God showed me here. It still is not going to compare to heaven, right? It's going to be way better than it is now, 100 times better than it is now. But it's not going to be heaven. If you're not afraid to die, all of this is easy. It is. Because what's the worst that's going to happen to you? If you're going to heaven, when you take that, when you get to that point where you get that straight in your head, all of this becomes so much easier. Because what are you afraid of? What do you have to fear? The only thing I fear is not doing the work God wants me to do. That's the only thing I fear. And that just acts to drive me because nothing's going to stop me. It doesn't make any difference. You know, people ask me all the time, well, God, you're really sticking your neck out, you know. All these people could be after you. They could be. So what? We're all going to die, right? There's no getting around it. You know, I wouldn't mind going out in a, you know, blazing gunfight or whatever. If we're going to go big. It makes it easy when you get that straight in your head. You know, I've been drug under bucking horses, getting the crap kicked out of me. My heart rate doesn't change except for the exertion of trying to, you know, physically protect yourself. But zero fear. Because all you can do in those situations is do the best you can to get yourself out. And panicking is counterproductive. So you learn mentally to be calm in those situations. And when you're calm in those dangerous situations, you come out of them a lot better. So think about that. It's easy to do if you understand it. And once you understand it and you can control it, you'll be amazed at how much better you handle almost any situation. So set the example. California and Arizona shatter virus record. They shatter the record. What a joke. California and Arizona shatter the record, and then listen to this. Global total nears, doesn't even hit 12 million people worldwide. There's 7.5 billion people in the world, and we're not even at 12 million yet. After 6 months, what does that tell you? This is a joke. This is less dangerous than the common flu. And people are still scared shitless. You got to give them credit. They do have their psyops down. They do have their propaganda down. They have created sheep out of people that are supposed to be pretty intelligent. You're not intelligent if you're falling for this crap. Look at the mortality rates. Look at something they're calling a pandemic that 6 months later doesn't even have 12 million people infected. It's a joke. It's the flu. It is a hoax. there's some interesting videos out, which I'm sure some of you have seen, talking about kind of, I think, starting to get into Sarah and what that program's about. And, in a nutshell, the our birth certificates, basically, because of the debt, I mean, this is kind of just in a nutshell, paraphrasing. Basically, the whole concept behind a birth certificate is that it gives ownership of your, and what they it's basically the tax revenue that you're going to produce over the course of your life. This obviously is not kosher. This system that they set up has to do with maritime law, and it's just a hijacking, basically, of the world and the world's population. That's basically what this Nasara is based on. That it's making amends, making it right for these hundreds of years of corruption and manipulation of our financial systems. The theft it's going to rock the world. I keep saying, you'll never want to put your money in a bank again when you get the story of how these criminals have abused us financially. The whole system was stacked against us, where we basically, you always get that 1% person that somehow slithers through to the top, blind luck mostly. But for the most part, this game has been completely stacked against us. And I don't think we're going to see, I think banks obsolete in 5 years. Finding a bank will be like finding a payphone today. The whole system's going to change. And that's where cryptocurrencies come in, because it's the perfect storm of corruption, manipulation, of the financial systems to basically steal humanity blind. And it's all coming out. U.S. budget deficit hits a record. This is just June. $863 billion. It's 100 times increase. And what they actually spent, 1.105 trillion. 1.01 trillion. Remember, we went the first 230 years to get to the first 10 trillion in debt. 230 something years, give or take. Now it's $1 trillion a month. Our deficit, our debt is increasing $1 trillion a month. And people think that this is no big deal. Economy's fine. The economy is done. What everybody has to understand is the economy's dead. The economy was dead 4 months ago. The minute they shut down the worldwide economy, it was over. You can't fix this. We could barely pay the interest on the debt 6 months ago. And now you shut down the worldwide economy for 6 months and it's going to be okay? Guys, get your money out of the banks. Get your money out of the stock market, the bond market, pension funds, 401ks. Anything on paper you're going to lose. I was talking to a member about, the FDIC insurance. All the banks, you got FDIC insurance. You don't have to worry about, leaving your money here. You're insured. What they don't tell you is that in the case of a nationwide collapse, which we're talking about a worldwide collapse, but if it's just nationwide, which is all we really care about, 3 cents on the dollar. Based on the deposits in America today, you're going to get 3 cents on the dollar. How does that make you feel? Yeah, sure, you got insurance. But there's not enough there to cover your deposits. And of course, the banking laws were changed so that now your deposits are considered a loan to the bank. So what does that mean when they go bankrupt? And they're all bankrupt. They don't have to pay you a penny. And there's nothing you can do about it because it's a loan. So you go to the bottom of the list of creditors, which means if you're lucky, you'll get pennies on the dollar. Most people are going to get nothing. Zero. Get your Litecoin and silver. God showed me Litecoin and silver for a reason. Historical averages. You got to look at the gold to silver ratio historically. It comes out of the ground 10 to 1, 10 ounces of silver for every 1 ounce of gold. That's how it comes for 5,000 years. That's how it's been priced. That's how it comes out of the ground. Makes perfect sense. What is the ratio today? Over 100 to 1. What does that mean to the price? That when the manipulation is removed, silver will outperform gold at least 10 times. Because it's going to go back to the 10 to 1 ratio, which means you're going to make 10 times more on your money investing in silver than in gold. That's why God showed me silver. I didn't understand that at first. Why silver? Well, then I did 25,000 hours worth of research. Oh, yeah, this is why. Because the ratio is off now. And they're saying when they do the reset, when they go to the gold-backed currency, you know what they say silver's going to be worth? Over $3,700 an ounce. And that could be any day or week. I think by the end of the year, for sure, we're going to be over 1,000. Just on silver. And I think within 10 years, I think silver passes gold in price. They say gold's going to be over $50,000 an ounce when they go to a gold-backed currency. Think about it, guys. Silver over gold, Litecoin over Bitcoin. Do the same thing with Litecoin. Litecoin is $45, right? A piece. It's about 7,000 for Bitcoin. You can buy over 100 Litecoin for 1 Bitcoin. Okay. In 4 years, there's some analysts believe that by 2024, Litecoin is going to be worth $3 million a piece. Bitcoin is going to be worth $12 million a piece. Wow, that sounds awesome, man. $12 million a piece for Bitcoin? Yeah, but you got to pay $7,900 for one. Okay, $7,900 gets you 1 Bitcoin, gets you $12 million in 4 years. Or you could buy 100 Litecoin at $3 million a piece. What do you think is a better return on investment? Obviously, it's Litecoin by a huge amount. Way more than the difference between gold and silver. Litecoin and Bitcoin, Litecoin is going to have far greater return on investment. That's why and me personally, I've got a fraction of a Bitcoin. I've got a fraction of a Ethereum. I converted everything. When we hit the top at almost 20,000 for Bitcoin, I sold my Bitcoin and bought all Litecoin. Because God showed me what was coming. Yeah. So you can imagine you're printing 1 trillion a month. It's unsustainable. Hyperinflation is soon to follow. This is coming down, guys. It's a mathematical certainty. The worldwide economy is collapsing. The question is, how's it going to go down? We got a couple options. A collapse, just a total collapse, that nobody does anything and the economy collapses organically on its own because of some trigger point. Deutsche Bank goes down or Chase goes down or something causes the collapse. That's option number one. Option number two is a reset. That President Trump comes to the American people. Listen, the virus has killed the worldwide economy. There's too much debt. We can never pay it back. We're going to wipe the slate clean and start all over. All debt's going to be wiped out. We're going to start all over. Now, the pension funds are going to go down in that scenario, as well as a lot of other businesses. The best option is NESARA. GESARA for the global, NESARA for America. That all debt, the same thing. All debt is wiped out, but the pension funds are saved. That would be the best option. Like I said, it's the icing on the cake. If NESARA comes, I've been on the fence. I'm still on the fence. Too many times they've announced it, never happened. There's a lot of information out there now that I'm leaning more towards it happening. It doesn't make any difference. If you're prepared, extra food, extra water, medical supplies, ammo, physical silver, and Litecoin, it doesn't make any difference if NESARA happens. You're set for life. If NESARA does happen, that much better. But those are our options. That's what's coming. One of those three scenarios is going to happen. Eventually, if the economy goes down organically, say Deutsche Bank does collapse and it brings down the world economy, President Trump's still going to declare a reset. Think about this, though. The difference between him coming to us on a Monday morning and saying, hey, the economy's screwed, this virus destroyed the worldwide economy, there's too much debt, we're going to need to wipe the slate clean. He's 100% control. Think about the difference in perception from the world, not just America. Option B is it collapses on its own. You wake up Monday morning, you go to the gas station to put gas in your car, your credit card doesn't work. Banks are closed. Collapse. Think about finding out that way as opposed to President Trump doing a press conference and either declaring NESARA or just a common reset. Either one of those is better than the collapse that's going to cause panic and anxiety amongst the general public. It's a no-brainer. The best way to go is declaring the reset or setting NESARA up before the economy comes down so that people are less stressed. I mean, we've got enough going on right now without adding more to it. And then add the satanic pedophilia on top of that that's coming. The arrest of Obama and Clinton. You can see why there's going to be rampant cognitive dissonance. It's going to be epidemic. You want to see an epidemic, a pandemic? You're going to see one with cognitive dissonance. People are going to be walking around for weeks in a daze. They're not going to be able to process it. They're going to see their heroes, Clinton, Obama, Bush for some people, on film, torturing and murdering children. All those videos are going to be available to see. The executions of these monsters are going to be available to see. Yeah, think about how that's going to affect the world. People are going to walk around for weeks like they're in a coma. We got to be ready. We're going to have to step up. I've been talking about this. You're going to have to keep an eye on your group, your friends, your relatives, your neighbors. Really pay attention to the ones you know are going to have a hard time with this. The super liberals are the ones you're going to have to watch the closest because there are going to be a lot of suicides, I think, come out of this. But we can mitigate that by identifying people now who we think are going to have the hardest time with this. We've got to be doing that now. Those are the things we need to be thinking about. That's part of the mental side of this, thinking through all the possibilities that can happen that we can have a positive impact on. 8,700 stores are closing, and the number is set to rise, driving the implosion of commercial real estate. That doesn't sound very good. But people say the economy's okay. Don't worry about it. Jesus. Are you kidding me? It's a joke. The economy's done. People with mild cases of the virus, here's another fear porn, may experience serious brain disorders. A UK neurologist claims. Here's something to think about. Could this be triggered by 5G? Is there something in the virus that 5G could trigger? I don't know if it's in there now, but I think that was the plan. I think that's what the whole deal was. 5G was going to trigger something they put, and I think that's probably the virus that they've got coming up. The virus that they were going to put in the vaccine, that they want to give everybody, force everybody to take. I think the saving grace here is that we caught this thing in phase 1 of the plan. I think phase 1 was to generate something that required the vaccine so that they could force it on the world, because this is so dangerous. This is something way above and beyond. We've got to take special action here. And of course, they had most of the world brainwashed to want it. Don't take a vaccine. Damn sure don't take what they're cooking up right now, because I really believe they're going to find. Remember the one of the Kingsman movies. I think it might have been the first Kingsman movie. They had this very scenario that cell phones were going to trigger a mass mental breakdown where people were just going to go crazy. Homicidal maniacs, basically. It turned everybody into a homicidal maniac. When they played, I don't know whether it was a song or something, a tone on the phones, but something triggered this, right? 5G. I mean, you can't make this stuff up, and they always have to show their hand. That's part of whatever this crazy deal is, that they can't do anything negative to us without warning us about it first. And there's example after example for like 9/11 and virtually every other disaster we've had that they've shown us beforehand. "53% of restaurants closed during the virus have shuttered permanently." So more than half of and then that's almost all the restaurants, right? I mean, because pretty much everywhere in America, the restaurants closed down. So you're telling me that half the restaurants in America, 50%, are shut down for good. Think about that. How many hundreds of thousands of restaurants is that? But the economy's okay. Don't worry. This isn't. Listen, the economy's going to collapse, guys. Quit listening to the guys who are smoking that crack, because this economy does not survive. And those of you, listen, President Trump is a genius. He's got the hand of God on him, guiding and protecting him. But he does not control the worldwide economy. It is like a runaway freight train. Trump, but... Okay, I'm going to try and finish this up. Which way am I going here? Okay, here we go. See if we can get through the questions here before this thing goes south on us. Tessie, how you doing? Darren, what's up? Jerry? Tommy, how you doing? Yeah, listen, guys. Don't worry about the coin shortage. It, you know, it really is irrelevant, except that it's pointing to this whole thing coming down. Other than that, I'm not sweating the coin shortage. Half the banks where Carla lives are closing or closed. I'm telling you, they're broke. What the heck? Carolyn, how you doing? Cecil, what's up? Cecil saying Wells Fargo closed in the Prescott area. Brian, what's up? Sherman, what's up? Carla, hello. Price of silver's going up. Silver and Litecoin, that's where all my money's at. Carolyn's saying the same thing about the banks. I'm telling you guys, the banks are bankrupt. They are broke. Carla bought more silver last night. Good job. Cody, there you go, Cody, 3,700. I think I just said that. Dennis has a nice breeze and 84 degrees. The message is booming. Good job, Dennis. Torture those neighbors. When this goes down, guys, when this finally goes down, silver and Litecoin will skyrocket. That's when you're going to see the really big numbers. And you're not going to be able to buy it. When that happens, everybody's going to quit selling. So get it now. Not much time left. This could go down any day now. Linda, how you doing? Cody, Aaron. Jerry and his other brother Gary, twin brother Gary. Tiffany, what's up? Jerry, have you called Kevin yet? We got to get you on that list. Shelly's asking what's going to happen when your Social Security when the banks close. That's a good question. It's all going to depend, I think, on whether we get NASARA or we just get a reset. If we get NASARA, all of the Social Security pension funds should be saved, and we should still get that. One way or another, they'll figure it out. If we don't get NASARA, forget about your pension funds and Social Security. It's gone. So NASARA is going to be a big deal. Again, if we got physical silver and Litecoin, we're protected against losing our pensions. But it's obviously would be nice to have both physical silver, Litecoin, and NASARA so we keep our pensions and Social Security. Shirley, hello. I think I answered the question on Social Security. We're all waiting, guys. Sherman wants to know when Clinton. Listen, it's any day. all of these people, Obama, Clinton, the Bushes, could have already been arrested. I think that's going on right now. The question is, when are they going to announce it? I think sometime between now and the middle of the month, we're going to get an announcement. We'll see. And I've been saying that now for a couple of months. Yeah, they do have their, in fact, Coinbase just got the contract with Visa to issue credit cards for the exchanges. So within a year, well, I think within months, you're going to be able to get a credit card so you can use your Litecoin. Make it easier to lose. I mean, you can use your Litecoin right now, but that's going to make it much easier. Pizza Hut filed bankruptcy. Dropping like flies, guys. You can't have these big corporations. You can't have these buildings sitting. They've got massive debt payments they've got to make. Libby, how you doing? Bed Bath & Beyond closing 200 stores. Yeah, people are getting a first-hand taste of socialism. That's what President Trump is allowing them to do. Shoot themselves in the foot. David, what's up? Brian, Roxanne, Diane, how you doing? Beth, hello. Barbara, hello. Yeah, this is on my end, guys, tonight. Kathy, how you doing? Jill, how you doing? No, listen, guys. No financial institutions doing well. They're all bankrupt. Uh, are you talking, Liz? Are you talking $500 invested in Litecoin? Yeah, that would be fine. If you invested 500 today, I would also invest 500 in silver. I think if you can put $1,000 in, 500 silver, 500 Litecoin, you're going to be fine. Nobody in your family is going to have to work again. Um, but more is better. So do it. Here's the bottom line. If you've got the money, don't let the banks have it. Invest it in silver and Litecoin, all of it. Why let them have a penny that you don't need to let them have? And you can use Coinbase as your secondary account. That's what I do. Right now, I've got like 80 something Litecoin in Coinbase that I'm living off of. If I need to pay a bill, I sell some Litecoin by 7 in the morning, Monday through Friday. By 2:30 in the afternoon, that money is in my bank account. So why do I need to keep any money? $100 is my average in the bank. Everything else is in Coinbase and in my ledger. Well, that's why everybody needs their extra food, extra water. Because now listen, I don't want to create any panic here. I believe that President Trump is on top of this 100%. He knows this is coming, and he will keep some food in the stores. That nobody in America is going to starve. That's what I believe. That doesn't mean you don't get prepared. Do you want to put your family through that? Maybe possibly not eating for days because of shortages. Do the smart thing. Do it now. Don't wait until something happens. Get your extra food, extra water, medical supplies, ammo, physical, silver, and Litecoin today. If it happens tomorrow, you're protected. Yeah, crypto.com. You can get a credit card against your cryptos. Keep some cash on hand. $500 to $5,000 depending on your net worth. You want some cash though. Sasha, hello. Uh, jmbullion.com, sdbullion.com. I know there's still silver out there. You just got to hunt for it a little bit. Okay. Okay, so that's all the questions. Okay, guys. Days or weeks. We're at the point this could happen any day. Be prepared. Make your last minute pushes. Every person matters. Every day matters. Use your critical thinking skills. Use your discernment. Question everything. Be on your toes. Situational awareness. We're at the final quarter here. We need to push through till the end. We need to stay on our toes. Don't let your guards down. Be careful when you're out in the streets. Heads on a swivel. Let's finish this. I'll end it with our prayer. For God and country, amen. I'll see you tomorrow night at 5 Pacific. God bless.